I didn't know her name, but I tried to save her. As the title says, yesterday was, without a doubt, the worst day of my life. It started out so normal, so painfully average, you'd never guess how it would end. The sky was overcast, casting that grayish filter over everything. But nothing seemed wrong. I was babysitting my niece. She's only a toddler, barely old enough to form full sentences, and usually full of energy. But that day, she was strangely calm, almost eerily quiet. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe she felt something none of us could explain. My 12-year-old sister was with me too. We were all at my mom's apartment, a small second-floor unit in a pretty average complex. My sister offered to take out the trash, something she's done 100 times before. I said sure, thanked her, and kept an eye on the baby. A few minutes passed, then a few more. 10, maybe more. I started checking the clock, that creeping sense of unease crawling up my spine. I told myself not to worry. It's just trash. It's a safe neighborhood. She probably got distracted. But then I heard the door creak open. I turned and saw her stepping back inside. Her face was pale, her eyes wide, like she'd seen something she didn't know how to explain. She looked right at me and walked over slowly. She followed me, she whispered. Some woman. She was just standing there. She said something about her friend. Said her friend turned blue. Time seemed to slow. My stomach dropped like a stone. Immediately, I locked the door. Checked on my niece, who was still sitting on the floor with her toys, blissfully unaware. Then I grabbed my phone, told my sister to stay inside, and stepped out. And there she was. A woman, standing by the dumpsters, rocking slightly on her feet. She was muttering to herself, the kind of low, broken murmur that only comes from fear or confusion or drugs, or all three. Her hair was messy, tangled. Her clothes were stained. She looked lost, like someone who'd been crying for hours. When I approached her, she turned toward me slowly. Her eyes were unfocused, like she was seeing something beyond me. "My friend," she said, her voice hoarse. "She's not breathing." She turned blue. I asked the only question that made sense in that moment. Was it an overdose? She nodded slowly, her face crumpling. She looked too dazed to fully understand what was happening, but some part of her knew it was bad. Very bad. I called 911 immediately, my fingers shaking slightly as I tapped the numbers. I stayed calm, or tried to. I told the woman firmly, "You have to show me where she is. Now." She led me through the complex to a staircase. Second floor. Everything felt unreal, like I was walking through someone else's life. The door to the apartment was open. We stepped inside. It was quiet. Too quiet. No TV. No music. Just the thick, stale air that immediately made my throat tighten. The place looked lived in, cluttered but not messy. There were empty cups on the counter, an ashtray full of cigarette butts. But none of that mattered. In the center of the room, in a cheap metal folding chair, sat a woman. She was slumped forward, her arms limp, her head tilted unnaturally. Her lips had a bluish tint. Her chest wasn't rising. Her eyes were partially open but unfocused. She wasn't moving. I rushed over and checked her pulse. Nothing. "Oh God," I muttered. The weight of the moment crashed down on me. The 911 operator was still on the line. She told me I had to start CPR. But to do that, I needed to get her on the floor, and she was heavy. Too heavy for me alone. I turned to the woman who had brought me here. She was backing away toward the door. "Hey! Help me! Now!" My voice must have jolted her back to reality, at least for a moment. She ran over, and together we managed to get the unconscious woman onto the ground. I dropped to my knees and started chest compressions. I'm CPR certified, used to work in social services, so I knew what to do. But my hands were shaking, my mind was screaming. Every second felt like a minute. Push, count, breathe, check, repeat, over and over. I lost track of time. My arms were burning, but I didn't stop. Then, the woman, the one who had followed my sister, suddenly reappeared with 2 doses of Narcan. I don't know where she got them. Maybe she'd had them all along. Maybe she ran to someone else nearby. I didn't ask. I administered both, back to back. Still, no response. Minutes passed. Nothing changed. I kept going. I kept hoping. And then, sirens. A flood of relief hit me so hard I almost collapsed. EMTs rushed in and took over. One of them gently moved me aside. I stood up, stumbled outside, and sat on the curb. The world was spinning. My breath felt shallow. I couldn't stop staring at the cracks in the pavement. My hands were stained with someone else's life, and I couldn't stop shaking. The police came and asked questions. I told them everything, from the moment my sister walked out the door to the moment the EMTs arrived. I was honest, blunt, exhausted. One of the officers, a tall guy with a soft voice, looked at me and said, "You did good. Not many people would have stepped up like that." I didn't answer. I didn't feel good. I felt hollow. I sat there for maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer. Time had stopped meaning anything. Then one of the EMTs approached. His face said everything before he even opened his mouth. "We tried," he said, "but she didn't make it." I'm 21 years old, and in that moment, I shattered. I didn't know her name, didn't know anything about her life, but I saw the life leave her body. I tried so hard, and she still died. And the woman who had led me there? She was gone. Vanished. Like a ghost. The police are still looking for her. They asked if I knew who she was. I didn't. I only saw the fear in her eyes. They told me I did everything right. But all I feel is this cold, heavy emptiness. Like I'm carrying a weight I'll never be able to set down. That day changed something in me. And even now, I can't stop hearing the silence in that room, or seeing that bluish tint on her skin, or thinking the same thought over and over. Why? Why does it feel this unfair? Does it feel this